Hi students, welcome to Shri Damodar Raghoji Memorial School. So this is for class 7th standard, subject is science. So today we are going to discuss about the lesson number 8, that is winds, storms and cyclones. Okay students, see, let us observe these pictures. So what shows these pictures? Students, these are those pictures in Orissa. It was hit by a cyclone with wind speed of 200 km per hour on 18th October 1999. So the cyclone smashed this Orissa cyclone was smashed 45,000 houses, making 7 lakh people homeless. Okay, so this Orissa cyclone making a 7 lakh people homeless on. And the another picture that is in this picture that you are seeing, this was another one cyclone that we can see, that is in 29th October the same year, a second cyclone with wind speed of 260 km per hour hit Orissa again. So it was accompanied by water waves about 9-meter high. Thousands of people lost their lives and property worth crores of rupees was destroyed. So the cyclone affected agriculture, transport, communication and electricity supply. But what are these cyclones, students? So how are they formed? Why are they so destructive? In this chapter, we shall seek answers to some of these questions. So we begin with some activity involving. So students, introduction of this lesson is that what? So we live on the earth which is surrounded by air. Okay, so the layer of air surrounding the earth is called what? Atmosphere. So the moving air is called what? Wind. So it is formed by the heat of the sun, or it may be said that unequal heating of different parts of the earth forms wind. So what is this air pressure? Students, we begin with some activity that involving air. These activities will clarify some basic features concerning cyclone. Before we begin, remember that the moving air which we are called, that is wind. Okay, so here is, see this animation and see this activities related to this air pressure. Okay, yes students, listen this animation. Okay,
Air expands on heating. Now let us perform an activity. Take a boiling tube, stretch a balloon tightly over the neck of the tube and make it tight by using a tape. Pour some hot water in a beaker. Insert the boiling tube with the balloon in the hot water so that the free end is inside the beaker. Observe for 2 to 3 minutes for any change in shape of the balloon. Take the tube out. Let it cool down to the room temperature. Take some ice cold water in another beaker and place the tube with the balloon in cold water for 2 to 3 minutes. Observe the change in the shape of the balloon. The balloon gets inflated when the boiling tube is placed in hot water. We can observe the same balloon getting deflated when the tube is kept in cold water. From this experiment, we can conclude that the air expands on heating. Now let's perform another activity. Take 2 empty paper cups of the same size. Hang the 2 cups in the inverted position on the 2 ends of a wooden stick. Tie a piece of thread in the middle of the stick. Hold the stick by the thread so that it looks like a simple balance. Place a burning candle below one of the cups. We can observe the balance of the cups getting disturbed. In this activity, we can find that warm air rises up. As the warm air rises up, it pushes the cup above the candle and the balance gets disturbed. The disturbance in the balance indicates that the warm air is lighter than the cold air. As we already know, on heating the air expands and occupies more space. When the same amount of air occupies more space, it becomes lighter. Hence, we can conclude that the warm air is lighter than the cold air. That is the reason we always find smoke rising up. Now let us analyze these observations and try to understand why pressure differences are created in nature. In nature, there are several situations. When warm air rises at a place, the air pressure at that place is lowered. The cold air from the surrounding areas rushes in to fill its place. This sets up convection in air.
Okay students, after seeing this videos you conclude that air expands on heating and the warm air is lighter than the cool air. Yes sir. So these are some properties of air that it applies on air, that is the cyclones and wind storms and the cyclones. Okay. See students, here wind. The natural motion of air due to current in a particular direction that we are called as what? Wind. Yes. So winds and pressure difference. What is the difference between this winds and also the pressure difference? See, increased wind speed is accompanied by reduced air pressure. When increase the speed of the wind, when increase the speed of the air, it reduces, means it decreases the air pressure. Okay, so air moves from a region of, always listen students, always the air moves from a region of high pressure to a region of low pressure. Okay, the movement of the air always from the higher region to lower region. Here what is the difference between here warm air and cool air? Okay, from that activities you can understand that always the warm air is lighter than the cool air. Okay, see, on heating air expands and rise up. Okay, since it expands, it takes up more space and therefore it becomes lighter, and warm air is always lighter than the cool air. That is why the smoke always rises up. See students, once warm air rises up, the air pressure is lowered. Then the cold air from the surrounding rushes into fill its place. Next is one, that is another one in nature that we can see, that is rain. What do you mean by rain? What is rain here? Rains are caused when winds from the oceans and seas flow towards land carrying moisture. As you know that by the method of evaporation, all the the water get evaporates. Yes, that vapors to be mixed with the air and it will go up and it will become condensed. Okay, then what will happen, it will the condensed, what that is the condensed vapors get again melt and it will form like a precipitation that we can, it will drop like it flow, that is, so the what that is the condensed vapors melt and it will convert in the form of liquid that we can see droplet of water to be see on the earth. Okay, see, rains are caused when winds from oceans and seas flow towards land carrying moisture. The moisture in the clouds gets saturated after a point and pour down. Okay, after melting the vapors, what will happen, it will pour down as a showers. Yes, so which we call, that is monsoon. Here another one aspect that we can see in this lesson, that is what? Thunderstorms. So what are these thunderstorms? Develop in areas that are very hot and humid like India. Yes, so the high temperatures create strong upward currents that carry water vapor to high altitudes. So, where they condense and fall down again due to such a drastic pressure variations, they are accompanied by lightning and strong winds. So, to understand about this thunderstorm more, let us see an animation. Okay, so that you can understand the clear aspect of the clear concept of this thunderstorm. Okay, just see this animation.
Winds are generated due to uneven heating of the earth. Moving air is called wind. You can feel it on the ground as well as in high up in the atmosphere. The wind can be destructive as well as useful. Basically, all kinds of winds are generated due to uneven heating of the earth. There are two situations. Uneven heating due to the shape of earth and its inclination. Uneven heating of land and sea. As you know, the earth is almost spherical, inclined at an angle of 23.5 degrees Celsius to its path around the sun. Due to this, the regions in the equator region gets more amount of heat from the sun than the regions near the poles. So, the air in these regions gets warm, expands and rises up. To take its place, the air from the colder regions starts blowing towards equator, thereby producing winds. So, one may say that in the northern hemisphere, the air moves from north to south, and in the southern hemisphere, the air moves from south to north. However, this does not happen on account of rotation of earth from west to east. So, the air in northern region blows in southwest direction and in southern region in the northwest direction. The earth gets 5 times hotter as compared to sea water on receiving the same amount of heat from the sun. In summer, in the month of May and June, though the sun shines equally on the land and the water, yet the lands get much more heat from the sun as compared to water around it. The air above land gets heated, becomes light, and rises upwards. This causes the winds to flow from oceans towards the land. These winds are called monsoon winds. Generally, monsoon winds are generated from Rajasthan deserts, that is southwest direction. The winds coming from the oceans to the land carry water and bring rain. It is the monsoon winds that carry water and it rains. In winter, the direction of wind flow gets reversed. It flows from the land to the ocean.
Yes, students, by seeing this animation, you can see that during the thunderstorm, water releases heat when it changes from vapor to rain and in the atmosphere. So this warms the air around, creates a drop in pressure. So this causes air to rush in towards the center of the storm, and this cycle causes large low pressure system accompanied by strong high speed. So in that swirl around it, this is the formation of what that we call cyclone. Okay, so here what do you mean by cyclone? A cyclone is a large mass of air that rotates violently about 10, that is 1015 kilometer high in the air. So the center of the cyclone is a calm area called as eye of the storm. What is the structure of a cyclone is here. The center of a cyclone is a calm area called the eye. It has a diameter of about 10 to 30 kilometer. Around the eye is a region of cloud of about 150 kilometer, and this is also as winds with speed of up to 150 to 250 kilometer per hour. So the speed of the wind gradually decreases as it moves away from the eye. So there are different types of cyclones that we can see. Cyclones are given different names in different parts of the world. So they are called as hurricanes in the American continent and as typhoons in, that is, Japan. Yes, So cyclones, we can call it in different places in different names. Okay, so students, once again we will see another one animation. So in this animation you can clearly understand the whole concept of this thunderstorm and wind and cyclones. Okay, so let us look at this animation. Okay students, just observe and listen this animation. Okay, so what we are all discussed now, no, it is there in this video. Okay, once again you will see and understand the topic of this lesson. Okay, now let us begin the video.
Mighty help us. What has happened, Grandpa? Why are you looking sad?
Oh, children, storms and cyclones are continuously occurring on the earth and causing destruction all over. Dear children, are you aware of the cyclones?
No, Grandpa. What is it?
Cyclones are basically storms which are generated in the ocean due to high-speed winds and air pressure difference.
Are they very dangerous to our life?
Yes, children. In October 1999, Orissa was hit twice by the cyclones with wind speed of 200 km per hour and 260 km per hour. Many people died and many became homeless. Agriculture, transport, communication and electric supply were badly affected.
I think we should have more knowledge about it.
You are right, Radhika. I'm also very keen to learn about it. Yes, children. You must read about such events. Come, children. Let us learn about winds, storm, and cyclones. Objectives. This lesson you'll be able to define wind, explain air pressure, identify the application of air pressure in our everyday life, understand wind circulation over the globe, explain monsoon winds, thunderstorm, cyclone, and tornado. Discuss the effects of cyclones and the safety measures to control it. What is wind? Ankit is trying to fly a kite, but the kite is not flying. What does he need to do? It is very simple. He should fly the kite in the direction of air. Moving air helps the kite to climb in the sky. We call this moving air as wind. Now the question comes, what causes air to move? Well, it is caused by differences in air pressure within our atmosphere. Air exerts pressure. Have you ever thought what helps our lungs to inhale the air? Well, it is air pressure, which forces the air into our lungs when we breathe in. Earth's atmosphere is made up of a number of gases. These gases exert pressure on the Earth's surface. We call this pressure as air pressure. The Earth's atmosphere is 80 km deep. As we move upwards, the air pressure decreases. Air also pushes pressure on our body. Activity. Let's perform an activity to verify that air exerts pressure. Take a tin can filled with half water and heat it on a burner. After the water starts boiling, blow out the burner and immediately put the lid on the can. Then put that can carefully in a wash basin and pour water over it. What do you observe? The shape of the can gets distorted. Do you know why this is so? As water is poured over the can, some steam in the can condensed into water, which reduces the amount of air inside the can. That means air pressure inside the can decreases than the pressure exerted by the air from outside the can. As a result, the can gets distorted. So by this activity you learned that air exerts pressure. Wind and air pressure. Do you know that high-speed winds can blow away the weak roofs of buildings? High-speed winds are accompanied by reduced air pressure. Let us see an activity. Take a piece of paper and crumple it into the small ball. Now hold the empty glass bottle and place the paper ball just inside its mouth. Try to blow the ball to force into the bottle. Observe carefully. The paper ball is not moving inside the bottle. Do you know why? Actually, when we blow into the mouth of the bottle, the air near the mouth has higher speed. This decreases the pressure there. The air pressure inside the bottle is higher than near the bottle. When we blow the ball inside the bottle, the air inside the bottle pushes the ball out. So children, we concluded that increased wind speed is accompanied by reduced air pressure. Wind circulation.
I have one question in my mind. Can I ask you, Grandpa?
Yes, Radhika. Tell me.
How does the wind circulate on the earth?
It is very easy to understand. The warm air is light, so it rises up at a place, as a result of which air pressure of that area gets lowered. The cold air from the surrounding areas rushes in to fill its space. Energy from the sun heats the Earth's surface. Equator is the region which receives maximum heat from the sun than the polar regions. The air in these regions gets warm. The warmer air rises up, and the colder air coming from the polar regions moves in to fill the empty space. This is how wind circulation is set up from the poles to the warmer latitudes. Self-assessment. All of us get a feeling of relief from the long hot summers during the monsoon season. Let us see how this monsoon appears. During the hot summers, the land near the equator warms up very quickly. The temperature of the land is always higher than that of water in the oceans. The warm land heats the air above it. As a result, the warm air, being lighter, rises up and expands. This causes the winds to flow from the oceans towards the land. We call these winds as monsoon winds. The monsoon winds carry water from the oceans and bring rain. Thunderstorms. Can you tell where does lightning come from? And why does lightning sometimes strike the ground? Let's find the answers. A storm with lightning and thunder is called a thunderstorm. It develops in hot, humid tropical areas like India very frequently. They are formed by the uplifting of warm and humid air. When humid air is lifted, it cools down and the moisture in the air condenses to form cloud. Water droplets in the cloud continue to grow in size. As the cloud extends further upward, water droplets fall down, creating sound and lightning. We call this event as thunderstorm. Cyclone. You must have heard about cyclones. Why do we get afraid of its name? Cyclones are huge revolving storms caused by high-speed winds rotating around the central area of low air pressure. We know how a thunderstorm forms. Let us see how it becomes a cyclone. Cyclones are formed over warm oceans. The warm ocean also heats the air above it. When humid air is lifted, it cools down and forms cloud. The low air pressure created over the ocean begins to pull the clouds in, and the clouds begin to rotate due to Earth's rotation. These clouds continue to grow larger and begin spinning more. The swirling winds rotate faster and faster, forming a huge circle which can be up to 2,000 kilometers across. The center of a cyclone is a calm area. It is called the eye of a storm. As the cyclone builds up, it begins to move. Cyclones are extremely destructive. It can lift the water as high as 3 to 12 meters. As a result, the seawater enters the low-lying coastal areas, causing loss of life and property. It also causes heavy floods. As a result, fertility of a soil can also be reduced. Now it has become to monitor cyclones with the help of satellites and radars. Tornado. A tornado is a violent rotating funny cloud of air that reaches from the sky to the ground. The most violent tornado can lead to tremendous destruction. It can blow away large buildings, uproot trees, and hurl vehicles hundreds of yards. They may form within cyclones. The eastern coast of India is more vulnerable to cyclones than the western coast.
Okay, students, let us summarize that what we have learnt in this lesson. Okay.
Of land. Moving air is called wind. Air around us exerts pressure. Pressure exerted by air is called air pressure. Air expands on heating and contracts on cooling. Warm air is lighter than the colder air. A warm air rises up, air pressure at that place decreases, and the cooler air moves to that place. Uneven heating on the earth causes wind circulation. Monsoon winds flow from the oceans towards the land. These winds carry water from the oceans and bring rain. A storm with lightning and thunder is called a thunderstorm. Cyclones are huge revolving storms caused by high-speed winds and air pressure difference. A tornado is a violent rotating funnel cloud of air that reaches from the sky to the ground.
Okay, students, see the steps that to follow if a storm is followed by the lightning. So what are what are the steps that we can take when the storm is followed by a lightning? Okay, so here is the some of the points that we can see. Avoid taking refuge under the isolated trees, and if in a forest, seek shelter under a small tree. Do not lie on the ground, and do not try taking cover under an umbrella, and avoid sitting near metal sheds or open garages. If in water, rush out and go inside a building. A car or a bus is a safe place to take cover. What are the measures of safety that we can takes place from tornadoes? Okay, that is cyclone forecast and warning system, rapid warning systems to governments and fishermen and people in prone zones, and construction of cyclones shelters and rapid evacuation schemes, and avoiding fallen power lines and cooperation with others and that is rescue teams. Okay, so here is your lesson completed. Okay, if you have any doubts, just you text me and ask me. Okay, thank you.